episode 181, live from Seattle, Washington at the AP Annual Conference, Day 2.
Greetings, AP coordinators. We are back again for Day 2 of the AP Annual Conference. We're so excited to be here. It's been a wonderful, jam-packed, exciting day, full day of the main conference so far. We're now just in the morning of the second day, and we are specifically in the AP Coordinator Discovery Lounge in the Summit Convention Center in Seattle, Washington. The weather's beautiful. There's thousands of great educators here and many, many wonderful AP coordinators. And I have the fortunate opportunity to speak to one of the most wonderful AP coordinators in the whole world, Marcy Ewing. Hey, Marcy, how are you?
I'm doing well, Derek.
Marcy, how's the conference been for you so far? What did you think? Is this your first time here?
This is my first time at the conference, and I am amazed at, first, how many people are here. A lot of passionate, dedicated professionals, educators, and it's been a great experience so far, and I've met a lot of great people.
Awesome. That's so cool to hear. And there have been a lot of great concurrent sessions, a lot of great speakers, a lot of wonderful content for educators, for AP teachers, for AP coordinators, administrators. It's been a great conference so far. So you mentioned this your first time.
Correct.
We're here in Seattle this year. Where are you coming from? Where's home for you?
My home, so I am in Dublin, Ohio, which is a suburb of Columbus.
And your school's name is?
Dublin Kaufman High School.
What's the school mascot?
We are the Shamrocks. Go Rocks.
Go Rocks. All right, go
Yeah.
Rocks. Go Shamrocks. Any Shamrocks? Be proud if you're listening.
Absolutely.
Very good. And tell us about your school. How big is your school? How many AP exams do you offer?
Absolutely. So in my district, we are a 3 high school district. At my school particularly, we have about 2,000 students, and about 750 students take over 1,200 exams each year.
Wow. So you have a pretty good sized program.
We do. It's exciting.
And you are the AP coordinator there?
That's correct.
And how long have you been the AP coordinator at your school?
I have been for 14 years.
Wow, more than a decade, 14.
Yeah.
That's a lot. That's a lot.
Yeah.
How did you get into education? Was it something that you had always planned on doing, or was it something that snuck up on you?
Great question. I think if you look through like my childhood and everything, a passion of mine has always been to help others, and I've enjoyed working with people in all different areas. My mom was a teacher, so that probably was part of it as well. So, I landed in education as a high school English teacher and then transitioned into school counseling.
Oh, okay. So how long have you been doing your counseling role?
The counseling role would be the 14 years as well.
Okay.
Do you see a connection?
Connection. So when you assumed your counseling role, the AP coordinator role was sort of combined right in there. You were the AP coordinator from the start?
Correct. Yep.
But you must love doing it. You've kept it for a long time, 14 years.
Yeah, absolutely. I love that I get to connect with so many of the AP teachers, and then I connect with students that I don't normally get to connect with. So it's a lot of fun to build those connections and those relationships. And heck, this year I had sent so many emails that during AP testing, some kid came up and said, "Hey, you're the AP lady," and I was like, "AP lady,
there you
awesome.
go. Add that to your business.
Proud of it.
Add that to your business card. Add that to your resume. I am the AP lady.
Right? And I'm proud of it. Right?
Fancy, unofficial title,
Right.
but very fancy. That's great. Is that one of your favorite parts about being an AP coordinator? Just having that ability to connect with all parts of your school?
Absolutely. And I get to connect with different administrators and our SSD coordinator and that. So it's nice to build those relationships and work with people.
Well, at a big AP program like yours, those 2 weeks of May, you're the queen of the school.
Yes, I'm very well known by.
For 2 weeks during the school year, you run the school. Everything happens around AP.
Revolves around AP, absolutely.
All right, Marcy, I know it's early in the morning.
Yeah.
We're just getting started. I know you have a big day ahead of you. Don't want to keep you. I have one last question.
Sure, I'm ready.
So if 14 years of experience.
Yes.
You have a lot. You've seen it all, or most of all of it. Mm-hmm. What advice could you share with someone who's a new AP coordinator who maybe is just starting this school year? Maybe someone who's a counselor like you, who's also combining the AP coordinator role.
Absolutely.
What advice can we share?
Such a great question. I think my best piece of advice would be to build a team around you, to connect with other people, to not take this task on by yourself. I know even though I have the role of AP coordinator, I have a lot of people that contribute and make it a successful program. I'm not alone on this task. I have a lot of help, and so that would be my best piece of advice. Recruit, help, and have people help you.
Well, shout out to all your colleagues at Dublin Kaufman High School who help you administer a great AP program. Go Shamrocks.
That's right.
Thanks, Marcy, for joining us. Have a great rest of the day.
Thanks, Derek. You too.
Greetings, AP coordinators. Derek Cometa one more time, live at the AP Annual Conference. It's Friday morning. We are experiencing a great morning here in the AP Coordinator Experience Discovery Lounge here in Seattle, Washington. And so we are in the upper northwest part of the United States, but we have a special guest here on the podcast who's come a long way. She's come from almost the furthest southeast part of the continental United States. We have somebody here from an AP coordinator from Florida, the state of Florida, and her name is Lori Wiley. Hey, Lori.
Hey, Derek.
Lori, how was your trip out? Let me ask this first. How was your trip out here? It was a long journey?
It was a long journey. It was fortunately just seamless. No issues traveling. I brought my 2 dogs. They love the Pacific Northwest.
All right, your dogs made the trip. That's a long
Yes,
journey too for them
they
as well.
did,
Oh
they
my
did.
gosh, that's wonderful. Are your dogs enjoying Seattle so far?
They are. They have enjoyed the climate change and the change of climate and a lot less humidity. So it's been great.
Right, I was going to say a little less humidity in the air in the Pacific Northwest this time of year.
Indeed.
Very good. All right, so let's talk about the conference so far. It is day 2 of the AP Annual Conference. Day 1 was amazing. So many great sessions, so many great speakers. Was this your first time at the conference, or have you been to the conference before?
Derek, I attended an annual conference in Austin a few years ago.
Okay.
And it was fantastic, but I have to say there is just something in the air here in Seattle. Just an overall sense of positivity and excitement, and it's been a real charge to be here.
I think you are picking up the vibe correctly. It's great to be around so many other educators, so many people who are passionate about AP, all in the same place, all at the same time. And it's just so great to be around our colleagues again in person at a conference, as opposed to only being able to see each other through a little Zoom camera window, I think, right?
From the shoulders up.
Right,
Yes.
shoulders up. Right, we get all the body language now, not just the smiles and the nods and the winks.
Yes,
Very
it
good.
really makes a big difference.
All right. So let's go back down to let's take our conversation back to Florida. Tell us about your school. What's your school?
So I am the AP coordinator at Pineview School. Pineview School is located on the west coast of the Florida Peninsula, just south of Tampa, and my school serves students in grades 2 through 12. It is
Okay.
a magnet school for gifted education, and our high school students enroll in primarily an all AP curriculum.
All right. So how big is your AP program? How many exams each year?
We give between 1,700 and 1,800 exams each year.
All right. What's your biggest AP exam subject?
Well, I'd say it'd be a close tie between AP macroeconomics and AP statistics.
Wow. All right. Those are 2 tough classes. AP Macro, AP Stats. You will not find those classes on my high school transcript. My math skills were not quite up to that level when I was in high school.
Nor
but
mine.
okay. No, thank you for making the host feel a little bit better. That's a different story. Let's not go down that direction. Hey, how long have you been the AP coordinator at your school?
So I've been the AP coordinator for about 10 years. And
Wow.
I say about because there was a gap in the middle where I taught the AP capstone courses at my school.
Oh, okay.
When we rolled them out, that was very exciting and an experience. I am so glad to have had. But I was also very happy when I re-inherited the role of the AP coordinator once I stepped out of the classroom.
Very good. So you were the AP coordinator, took a couple years off because you were teaching AP, right? We know this. This is a policy. This is in our AP coordinator's manual. And but then when you stopped teaching Capstone, you went back and assumed your coordinator role.
Right.
What's your favorite part of the coordinator role?
There are so many parts of the AP coordinator role that I love.
Okay.
I love the planning. It's kind of like planning a party.
Right?
I have a very
2-week long party.
A 2-week long party.
2.5 weeks sometimes.
Sometimes. I have a very dear friend who works at my school who is the orchestra teacher, and he likens my role during AP administration as being my concert. So everything that I do in
love it.
preparation is leading me up to my concert, which happens to last for the month of May.
Wonderful. That's a great analogy.
Yeah.
Let's give a shout out to your orchestra
I'd like
teacher.
to give a shout out to Chris Mink, our orchestra teacher at Pineview School, Osprey, Florida.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Mink. We appreciate all the work you're doing with your kids in the orchestra program. All right. So let's see. Next question. Let's make this the last question because I can see people walking by. I know you have a concurrent session to go to. I know it's a busy day for you. So you have a big program. You've been a coordinator for a while. Is there something in particular that you are able to do, big or small, that actually you think you help that helps your students succeed when it comes to completing their AP courses and/or performance on their AP exams? What type of impact do you personally have on your AP students? That you're not teaching them, but what impact do you have just from your coordinator role?
Sure. I not being in the classroom, I do miss that interaction with students, and I'm so fortunate to work with such an amazing cohort of teachers that are in our AP teaching cohort. What they enable me to do is spend time in their classroom at various points during the year, particularly with our ninth graders. What I like to do is make sure just ahead of testing season that they see a sample answer sheet and a sample AP label sheet.
So great, yeah.
So that we can demonstrate that the AP label goes in the
in the correct
label
box,
section.
Right, in the correct box on the answer sheet. That's a good one.
Sure, and just model that whole process, because when you're a ninth grader and this is your first AP exam, it's a pretty overwhelming, or it can be an overwhelming process, just getting to the test. This is all what happens before the test. So
Lori, I am smiling so big right now because I love this, especially with first-time test takers, younger students, or students who are just taking an AP exam for the first time. They have so much anxiety already. I mean, it's natural for them. They don't all do, but it's natural for many to have a lot of anxiety about taking the exam. And what you're doing helps to control what you can control, right? So you're helping to alleviate some of those logistics. The last thing we want students to be worried about is how to bubble and use their AP ID labels on the exam. So I appreciate that. I said big or small, and that's a small thing, but I think that makes a big difference. Thank you for doing that. That's a great idea. That's a great best practice. Thank you for sharing.
Well, thank you. Thank you very much. And
all right,
thank you.
Lori. Well, let's get back to the conference. I know you have a lot to do the rest of the day. Thank you so much for taking a few minutes to join us. Have a great conference.
Thank you, Derek.
Greetings, AP coordinators. Derek Cometa back with you one last time at the AP Annual Conference in Seattle, Washington. We are here in the lovely Seattle Summit Convention Center, the brand new center here. It's been a great venue. We've had a great couple days here at the main conference. We are nearing the end of the day on Friday, and we have a special finish to our little mini series of podcast episodes live here in Seattle. So I am joined this morning by Isela and Jasmine, two students who just presented a concurrent session here to all the adult educators, to many, many folks. I was popped in your session this morning. It was a nice crowd of folks there, and you had a great conversation, shared some great information. we're going to learn more. That wasn't enough. We want to learn more about what you talked about. But let's start with finding out a little bit about you. Isela, can you tell us what grade you're in, what school you go to? Let's find out more about you.
Perfect. So I go to Pado High School, and I'm an upcoming senior this year. I'm involved in a few things around the school. I'm an athletic trainer. That's like my main thing. You know, we go to the football games, this and that. And then, of course, AP ambassadors and just other little random things throughout the school.
I've heard, now, your school is in Texas, correct?
Yes.
Near Houston, is that right?
It's like the suburb.
I've heard a rumor that high school football is kind of a big deal in Texas. Okay, very good.
Yes.
And so you help out with that?
Yes, behind
Lovely.
the scenes.
Very good. And Jasmine?
Okay, thank you for that grand introduction. We appreciate that. You're hyping us up. So, my name is Jasmine Trin, and I'm an incoming senior at Pado High School. It's a school in the Katy ISD district, right outside of Houston. And I'm class president at my school. I'm a part of AP Ambassadors, also a student athletic trainer. We both used to do orchestra, so a little bit of fine arts in there. And yes, I'm very involved in school. I love it.
Very good. So you're both multi-talented. Sounds like you're involved in a lot of school activities besides, I hope, being very good students.
Right,
very
yes.
good. So let's talk about your academics a little bit for a quick second. Jasmine, I'll stay with you. You've taken some AP courses, yes?
Yes, I have.
What was your favorite AP course?
Well, by far my favorite one was AP Human Geography, and ironically that was the very first one I took. I was very scared, but it turned out to be a great experience and one that I'll always remember, because something that's unique about AP Human Geo is that it's not your ordinary history class. You're not learning many dates and people and things that may be mundane and boring to most students. I learned about what goes on in this world worldwide, you know, things like commodities, the trade stuff, economics, things like that we deal with every day, and just like also how cities are laid out. I come to Seattle, Washington, and I'm like, wow, I learned about this urban sprawl and this urban everything, walkability in the city. I learned that my freshman year, and it's great that I can use that in my everyday life. So
Very good. So, all right, so your favorite, Jasmine, was AP Human Geography.
Yes.
Isela?
Mine has probably been world history. Not to be biased, just because I know Coach Shawley is a world history teacher, right? But it just so happens that class really sparked my curiosity for the lot that has happened in our world and that's going to continue happening. I like history, and I guess I only really know about around me, you know, U.S. history type things, but there's a lot, you know, the world's old, and I learned a lot, and not just the content, of course, but the way the course was ran. You know, we had discussions, which I really appreciated, and I got to really meet a lot of other kids that I'm still in classes with to this day.
Wonderful. Well, shout out to your AP Human Geo teacher and to your AP World teacher as well. Very good.
they're both
Thank
with
you.
us here today.
Oh, they're both here at the
Yes.
conference.
Yes.
So
Oh my gosh.
Mr. Shawley is our AP Ambassador sponsor, and Miss Ankney, she's along for the ride. She was my AP Human Geography teacher. So it's kind of full circle for us.
Very good. Very good. Thanks for bringing the whole crew here
Yes.
to Seattle. We appreciate it. All right. So as you're both juniors, rising seniors, getting ready for your senior year of high school, that's an exciting time. But you've had the opportunity to take a few APs. So as a student who has already taken a few APs, what is one of the bigger challenges for you being an AP student and balancing your course load, your academics with everything else, because you're very busy? What can you share?
I think the biggest challenge for me that I've discovered through AP classes the last 3 years is being confident in my ability to do what I do and do it well, and not care about comparing myself to other students that are in my class, whether it be what's my rank number, what's my GPA compared to the girl that's sitting next to me in my AP Human Geography class, or whatever class I'm taking. I think I struggle the most with being a little bit hard on myself when I don't get that A+ and maybe I got a B that grading period, you know? It's just like a lot of pressure that I put on my own shoulders to be a picture-perfect student, and I've realized that nobody can do it all, and nobody can be absolutely 100% perfect and confident in their abilities, but doing things that put me out there, like this conference, and doing presentations and conducting interviews, it's grown me to overcome that challenge a little bit, but that's still definitely something that I'm probably going to deal with going on into my senior year, especially graduating and college applications, So, yeah.
Very good. Isela?
Jasmine, what she said was so valid, and I think if you ask any AP student, it's something that's always in the back of their mind. But something that I struggle with personally is choosing which class to prioritize, because of course every AP is difficult, but to some people it comes naturally or easier, the content is easier. So this year I took a STEM AP, I took AP Chemistry. Oh my goodness, it was a great class, but it was
We're
very
doing a
difficult.
podcast here, so there's no camera, but we just had a look of relief / terror that AP Chemistry was finished.
Yes,
okay,
no,
all right.
definitely.
But the class went well for you, though.
Yes, it did.
Okay.
And but I kind of struggled. And then I also took U.S. history, right, as an example. And although both classes utilize completely different skills, I found myself kind of sometimes if I had a test for chemistry coming up, I would really focus in on that. But then I forgot that I had a quiz for U.S. history. And of course, I mean,
Right.
I can kind of wing the U.S. history one way more than the chemistry one, but it hindered my ability to do my best. And that's why also I just I need to be mindful of that with how many APs I'm taking and things like that. Like if I can give it my all to all of these courses.
I love both of those stories. Thank you for sharing. Jasmine, how you said, don't get caught up in comparing yourself. You are not what your grade is or what your rank is. You are you. You are a valued student. You have value regardless of what your grade is, what your rank is at your school, and things like that. And Isela, just like that ability to organize and stay on top of trying to juggle all those priorities and preparation for all the different courses, because you're doing that not just preparing for the AP exams, you're preparing for everything that's happening during your school year and trying to do all that. Those are great stories. Thank you for sharing. I know, I'm certain a lot of students can that story will resonate with a lot of students, that they'll,
Yes.
it'll sound familiar, I think, to a lot of folks, right?
Yeah.
Sure, right. Common struggles, no matter where you are. You're in Texas, but I think for students who may be listening, or AP coordinators who are listening around the world, we know these are pretty common,
Right.
pretty common things. Thanks for
Yes,
sharing.
That's what's beautiful about it. We're students around this whole country, even worldwide. College Board is a big organization, and
Yeah,
we
we've
all have the
struggled
same
the same
struggles.
things, yeah.
We go
Right.
through the same things. We have commonalities.
We do. Well said. All right, so let's fast forward to today. You gave a presentation today. You were part of an exciting presentation today to educators. Your session title was Boost AP Enrollment and Build Student Leaders with AP Ambassadors. You are
Yes.
part of this AP Ambassador program at your school. First of all, how did your session go?
Great. And genuinely best outcome possible.
Best outcome
Yes, no,
possible. That's a good.
seriously,
That's a strong statement. I like it.
I mean,
But
it
it's
met my
valid.
expectations.
Yes.
Yeah.
It was phenomenal. We've been preparing for the last couple days, and we've been doing touristy things in Seattle and all of that. But when we get back to our hotel, it's like grind time. We're gonna do this presentation. We're gonna do it well, and we're gonna be well prepared. And I think we did it really good.
All
So,
right.
yeah.
All right. I saw lots of people smiling as they were leaving your session.
And
so
you can't take all the
that's
credit,
always
of
that's always a
course.
good shared credit as well
Yes,
too.
all
But you're the guest, so I'm going to give you all the credit.
Thank you
so
for the next few minutes, you get all the credit.
you
You
very
get
much.
all the podcast spotlight right now.
I'm not opposed to that either.
I love it. I love it. All right, so tell me a little bit about this AP Ambassador program at your school and your role in the program.
So the AP Ambassador program, I guess if your first time looking at it, it's basically just boosting enrollment, like getting students to either stick with the program or join the program or take the AP exam. Because, I mean, you're in it, but then you still have to go that extra mile of, okay, you're in it, but we're trying to get you to take the exam, because then otherwise, why are you in the class, right? Why suffer through it if you're not going to at least try to aim for the college credit, right? If you
So
want
that
to
was,
enroll.
Isela, you gave us a great description of the program, what sort of the goals of the program are. What is your part? How do you help as an ambassador?
Okay, so my role as an AP ambassador is I stand in front of these classrooms and work my way up to standing in front of middle schools and share my AP experience and also relate to these underclassmen who need someone other than a teacher or a principal or a counselor to tell them, hey, you can do this, and there's people behind the scenes that are rooting for you to be successful in AP classes, and they're rooting for you to do big, grand things, and it's possible because AP ambassadors are students. Obviously, we've sat in that same exact seat being a newbie, being scared,
Right.
being
Yes.
ignorant to what high school is and how hard you have to work to achieve your dreams and your goals. And we're there to preach and support the student body, and that's our main goal.
That's amazing. It is, I worked at a high school myself for many, many years. It is different when teachers will, support, obviously go out of their way to support students, counselors as well, parents. Lots of adult figures will go out of their way to support and encourage students. But it's different when a classmate, when a peer says, I also believe in you. I did this. You can do this too. And that's so powerful that you get to share that with not with just students at your school, but with going down to the middle schools and sharing those messages too. Thank you. Oh my gosh, thank you so much. This is great work. We appreciate what you do to help students. This is very inspirational. Love it.
you so
Love it. So speaking of new students, that final question for each of you. What is one piece of advice that you would give to a student who is taking AP for the very first time?
I would say to, I know it's something anybody would say, but genuinely believe in yourself, because you hear all these things about AP from seniors, juniors, sophomores. Oh, I took this class, blah, blah. But it's one step at a time, take it slowly. You may jump ahead and you're like, oh, I'm in AP Human right now, but I'm going to take AP Calculus one day and it's going to be so scary or whatever. But you're not there yet, right? It's a step-by-step process. The more APs you take, the better it gets. There are hopefully will be upcoming more programs like at our school. If there's a new kid, you're set because we have this program, and I would say there's a good amount of kids in our school that take these APs. So there's just our program, and then just your friends are going to be hopefully in an AP class as well. So take it one step at a time. Believe in your abilities to do well.
Very good. I like it.
That was awesome. I totally agree with that. I think my one piece of advice would to be make the most out of your experience. And what I mean by that is raise your hand in that classroom that you might be scared to make a comment in. Ask that question to that advisor that you might be confused about a topic, Don't be afraid to take a risk and come out of your shell, because being in an AP classroom environment is such a privilege, and it's a lot different than being in a regular class, because the people around you are extremely supportive and ambitious, and they're all there for the same goal. Everybody wants to see everybody succeed, and the amount of work you put in is the reward that you're going to get out. And I've come to a lot of freshmen and sophomores that try really hard and they don't think they're doing enough, but at the end of the year they applied themselves enough that they just got that 3 to pass that exam, and they're so proud of themselves. And it's awesome to see the fruits of your labor basically at the end of the year if you really apply yourself.
Thank you for sharing. That's very, very insightful, very thoughtful. Maximize your opportunity, right?
Yes.
You're in the class, maximize that opportunity, take advantage of everything that AP, your AP teacher, the AP resources, take advantage of that whole package. Don't miss it. It's a great opportunity. Maximize it. I think I've maximized enough of your time today, so thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for joining us. We really appreciate your time. And a shout out to the Pato High School Panthers who may be listening. Go Panthers.
Go Panthers!
All right. Thanks so much. Have a great rest of your day here at the conference. Thank you so much for all you do.
Thank you so much for having us.
Yes, thank you.
Coordinated is presented by the AP program and the AP Coordinator Experience team. If you have a quick moment, please check the show notes for a link to complete a quick listener survey to let us know how we're doing. We'd love to hear from you. As always, we thank Jackie Ray for our theme song, Good as Gold. Jackie is a former AP Music Theory student at Oakton High School in Vienna, Virginia. Additional vocal support by me, Carly Suge, AP Coordinator at Costa Mesa High School in Southern California.
AP coordinators, we cannot say it enough. Thank you, thank you, thank you. We appreciate you, and for all your support of AP students, you are truly good as gold.